news out of Nairobi, Kenya, where ongoing protests have now inflamed further.
The Bible says that you leave a portion for your generation and your generation's generation. Previous generations have stolen everything. Them they are fighting for their inheritance.
We're being taxed everywhere, but the thing is we're not being told where the money is gonna go.
We are following breaking news out of Kenya. A demonstration by people angry over planned tax hikes has turned deadly.
It is very painful for Kenya that a conversation this crucial was hijacked by dangerous people.
There's a moral clarity that these young people have brought that was not there.
Sometimes you think that a bushfire is just a bushfire that have now culminated to this.
The day has come, my brothers. The revolution will be on TikTok.
Came as a guest, we gave you the best, somewhere to rest. But now you moving against us, you making a mess. You gotta address this mess in front of the press. Ni wapi ulipeleka pesa? We did the inspection, we seen you got a collection. We seen you building a mansion 2 months after the election. Whoa, you doubled your net worth, you must have been doing your best work. Got billionaires in your network and the youth can't even get work. We gotta watch them, we gotta watch them, we gotta watch them, we gotta watch them. Si walisema mambo ya Rivayala waliwacha, hesabu wangapi wajapatikana tangu walinaswa.
That day, nilipata shule, but when I saw the news, like my fellow young Kenyans on Abducted, so yakani motivate kabisa, like I have to join them. But then nilikuwa mbele by the way, because like me ni mtu mwenye napenda kuonyesha leadership, so nilikuwa among the first people. Up front natupiwa maji, sikuwa na give up tu, yani ndio tukasukuma au maskari hapo, tukasukuma karibu hapo na parliament hapo hivyo. Ndio nikasikia ati wanatumia live bullets. My bro akapiga tena, akanambia wako nini Basilica, that church. Akanambia siji wametupiwa pale tear gas, hawezi toka, so like wamejificha hapo ndani. Nikamwambia mimi niko sawa na niko hapa tuko around parliament. So that moment ndio you can trigger too, like I was turning back venye bro aliniambia. So kuturn hivi back ndio nilifeel to vibration kwa mwili yangu. So you feel like it's over. Let me just die.
How do you tell a story that's too late to be news, but too soon to be history?
I'm here to address you. You must go. Ruto must go.
This seething anger stemmed from a government attempt to raise taxes on lots of things, from cars to sanitary pads, smartphones, and staples. But this wasn't just about money. It wasn't even really about politics. It was about desperation.
Some misreading of really the temperatures, the way they're rising, and the frustration and the pain that people are experiencing every day.
For you, was it the finance bill or was it other reasons?
At first, it was the finance bill and other things. Yeah, like being jobless for 5 good years. Mom ana kazi, like anafanya tu casual works tu, yani hiyo kufulia watu hivyo, kupikia watu kwa catering. Alikuwa anafanya hospitali, kuosha vyoo hivyo za hospitali hivyo, so to feed us hivyo. So nilifikiria hivyo, like I have to change this, and I am a nutritionist. I was a bodybuilder.
I mean, we got to be excited about the future. We got to do things that make us want to live.
I went kwa streets for myself, but pia for other Kenyans wenye hawaku make it kwenda kwa streets, and that bullet changed my life. Ndo mimi.
Hiyo ndio wewe.
I'm a writer and a researcher with a big focus on economics and labor issues, but generally a lot of public interest research dimensions. I went to the streets on 2 accounts. One as a protest, of course, but also on the other side as a researcher, you know, observing, saying what are you seeing on the streets, who's out there, how are they engaging. And from the outset, there were clear differences from some of the previous, should I say, protests.
I don't want to be tapped like that. I don't want to be tapped like that. We won't allow your bullshit. This is bullshit.
If you could think back to one of those news events or one of those things that just pricked the national conscience prior to the Gen Z movement, that then showed us that perhaps there's something happening here, maybe in terms of the brazenness of those articulating issues, etc. Prior to this, what would it be, and why do you think that was such an important moment?
I think there are a number of dynamics to it. I would wager 2. One is what Mercy Tarus did when she stood up on that whole education scandal down in Eldoret. And in a sense, for a number of reasons. One is that labor immigration has been a thing in the country, so there was quite a clear focus on there. 2, there was, in a sense, opportunity.
First of all, umetuita meeting sisi na wazazi wetu.
I sat in that hall waiting for these guys to come. They arrived a few minutes to 1. And then now they are telling us, simameni for the national anthem. The people are so mad. We sat. I think that's where it started. All of this, I think that's where it started. I've never in my entire life sat down during the national anthem singing or playing.
I may seem very foolish in front of you considering I am very young. Mumetuita meeting sisi na wazazi wetu. Wengine wako na depression. Guga hajakula kitu tangu asubuhi. Mr. Chelili, nilisoma na watoto wako 3. Nataka nikuulize swali moja. Unajua dawa ya depression? Ukaambia wa parents. Parents, si hao watoto wote ni wetu. Si wote ni wetu. Ako wapi mtoto wa Barorota hapa asimame?
And so I could see that they didn't want to answer if I was asking for chorus answer. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to ask you personally. So that if you decide you're not going to answer, every parent here will know you have decided you're not answering. And I'm like, I'm a teacher. We are going to do this for even if it takes 10 minutes, you will answer me.
Now you have decided we are going to personalize things. Mr. Baroro, tunajua dawa ya depression. Do you know any antidepressant of your mind? Any antidepressant? No. Mr. Amandago, any antidepressant? Do you know any antidepressant? No. Very good. Kuna students hapa wako on antidepressants. Nilimaliza shule 2021. I graduated from Kabarak University. Your daughter graduated from Riara University. Probably it does not even move you. I congratulated her, nikamwambia, hey, you finished bana, congratulations. So what is next? Akaniambia she doesn't know, she's going to tell me. That is, after that we didn't talk. Now, you have given her a head start of some months. We don't know whether you sold land, whether you secured a loan, whether you sold your house. You have given your children head starts. Jana na juzi, nilikuwa Marura. I was selling cups of porridge and uji. I am a graduate. I was supposed to go to Canada.
How much did you personally pay?
982,000.
Where did you get them?
My parents, basically. Yeah. Those are great people. I cannot start to emphasize how supportive they have been, are continuing to be. Yeah, so they basically funded, got loans, paid, and then we had to wait. Oh, so it was 982, which I paid directly to that account, and then 36,000 for medicals, because I went for medicals at IOM. Yeah. And then of course transport back and forth from Eldoret to Nairobi, accommodation, all of that. Eventually it's $1 million plus.
How did your parents feel when they discovered that this was a scam?
Disappointed, angry. I think it makes everyone angry to see someone trying to play with your intelligence. You are not stupid. And the fact that they thought they could get away with it. And to think it's also it's my future, so it's their child's future. It's years from now. It's not only a problem that will now be for only 1 year. It is now going to have a ripple effect.
And one of the things at that particular point was the president especially, and the cohorts around him, had kept talking about, I'm looking for jobs for you abroad, I'm looking for opportunities abroad, I'm looking for this abroad. And then the one thing you've sold as a solution to these young people is the same one that ends up marred by a scandal, and then right at the president's backyard, politically speaking, And then that happening, then you have this young lady right on camera standing up to the leaders and quite articulate in terms of how she framed it.
You are very mean with the truth. Very mean. You will lie to us day in, day out. You are very mean with the truth. You keep lying, you smile at us with a very smooth tongue and very soft face that looks like it is very innocent.
It's been a year, and we're in the midst of what was branded as initially a Gen Z protest, a youth-led protest, about issues that you had raised in one way or another. Are you able to draw a line between your own standing up and speaking and what we witnessed today? In your mind, is there any connection between the two?
I think there's a connection. It's just, it could be from very far away, but it is there. During that time, during that period, I was going through the files of what did I say, and I just noticed there's a file on KTN, and before maandamano we did a presser. Then they said, Masi, kuja ongea. That time I was so angry. We were marching towards EACC because these guys, they have done nothing. So tulikuwa tunaenda EACC. Wakaniambia, Masi, kuja ongea. So I went. And I said, I addressed the president. Na nikamwambia Uasin Gishu is burning. Exactly that. And then I changed it to Kiswahili. Nikamwambia Uasin Gishu inaungua. Come and help us. Did he listen? No. And so sometimes you think that a bushfire is just a bushfire and it's going to end. It's not. The frustrations keep building. It was not only Uasin Gishu that was burning.
We are what you would call a protest society. Yeah. In this country, every single day there's a protest somewhere. You watch the news roundup in any of the mainstream media, and there's always some random road blocked in Lodwar, some chief's camp, there's agitation somewhere in Marsabit, there's people picketing somewhere in Kisii. In essence, we are a protest society. The issues are always ranked local in their focus, low in terms of national priority. But when you put them together broadly, you can tell that, in essence, protest is a daily feature in this country. We have been on this beat for a while. And there's actual data to show that from around 2022, the graph in terms of the frequency of protests has been going up. And it's not relented up to now.
June was an extremely important, impactful, and interesting month. Kenyans are unhappy with X. They are going out onto the streets to fight for their rights.
Sasa juu hamtaki hizi taxes, mnadhani pesa ya infrastructure itatoka wapi? We are not satisfied with those little clauses that you have removed. We are rejecting the entire bill.
There's a lot of articulation going on Twitter. There's a lot of mobilization going on TikTok. And Hanifa became the embodiment of that in terms of how she raised resources to help those who were injured, in terms of how she articulated why people are going to the streets. She had a better sense of why people are out there than a lot of the people who joined in. And she had been at this beat for a while.
Everyone just wants peace.
So what's the plan today?
Yeah, I'm going to the streets today. I'm going to demand justice for every one of us that was killed. My name is Hanifa Adan Safia. I'm 28 years old. I'm old, yeah.
Where were you born?
I was born and raised in Korokocho slums, yeah, hence the resilience. Growing up, seeing such inequalities, seeing such, injustices around you, I don't know, it molds you differently. You used to have a siwa. There was a raw sewer running across the road, and opposite it was a school. So that sewer was there ever since I was young. I took pictures of that place and posted them online on Twitter, tagging Sakaja and telling them, this is something that has been here for 30 years. So why has it not been solved and stuff? So I went back and forth with Sakaja until that place was perfectly fixed. That was the first thing I fixed, or we fixed, I'd say so, because so many people supported this. Okay, in all the years of me being a community volunteer, nothing has ever worked on ground. I've lobbied, a lot, not the chief, not the MCAs. That is why anything that happens and anything I can help anyone with get justice, I do it online. Anything that requires social justice is very personal to me because I know the system is rotten right from the bottom. I'm genuinely really proud of this. Whatever this is, I am extremely, extremely proud of it. I have never seen anything like this, but these are things I used to dream of. Of course, minus the killing, of course, minus the police brutality, yes, but everything else, the awakening. Everyone nowadays, is so informed, so awake. I genuinely love that for this country, and the fact that it's, the young people spearheading this. I'm so glad it's us, the young people.
Today, young, new, energetic, peaceful, unarmed and resilient protesters converted online rage to boots on the ground in day-long demonstrations against the Finance Bill 2024.
With an ever-ballooning public wage bill coupled with mega projects to finance, it has increasingly become a daunting task for Kenya's Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Henry Rotich, to juggle the basket of fast-rising expectations.
I want to offer my unqualified apology to the people of this nation, because as the people they trusted on the ballot, we have failed them by selling them lies.
The government is in debt.
We broke.
We broke.
A village boy has become the president of Kenya. I assume as president of Kenya.
Hii serikali hii, mimi nawaambia hii serikali ni ya mahasla.
Tumpongeze kwa makofi.
What is your plan to ensure you get us out of this public debt crisis?
One bullet.
We collect every collectible revenue.
Tell me a little bit about your brother, Francis.
My brother ni kijana hardworking. After kumaliza shule, alimaliza polytechnic, but sio yule mtu alikaa nyumbani sana juu there is no employment. So yeye alienda kuhustle, anaenda town, anapata kibarua kidogo kidogo. So he was that kind of a person who was very hardworking, na alikuwa ni mtu wa watu sana. Even if you ask the whole village, watu wote walikuwa wanamjua kama mtu mcheshe, mchapakazi, na ni mtu wa watu. Unajua this is Kapseret constituency, tumekuwa upande wa the party that is ruling now, UDA. So yeye alikuwa one of the mobilizers huko wa kumake sure kwamba wamevotia UDA. So he was among those who are mobilizing for the winning team. So ni kijana hata wanasiasa wengi wamekuwa wakimjua. At some point ukiingia hata social media yake utaona alikuwa na Ketera at some time back. Ukiona pia ni mtu mwenye In as much as hakuwa anaonyesha sana na anapenda siasa, but he was one of the mobilizers kwa vijana katika hii area.
Mr. President, please repeat after me. I, William Samoei Ruto.
Matumaini ya kila mtu kulingana na venye this regime ilikuwa imepromise watu. Kama ulikuwa unasikia, one of them ilikuwa ni employment kwa vijana, and that's chenye ilifanya watu wengi wakavote. Hata yeye alikuwa na matumaini kwamba if this government ikiingia, na yeye atapata a piece of cake, at least aweze kujikimu kimaisha. And then the unfortunate happened. Serikali imeingia, tumepanga, kazi ziko, and then mambo imebadilika. Kila mtu anajua mambo imebadilika. Promises yenye tulipewa imekuwa opposite. Utapata rais leo anasema kwamba tumeajiri vijana, lakini hakuna kijana hata katika hii area hata mmoja ameajiriwa. Utapata rais anasema serikali maybe haina pesa, lakini utapata kila every week wanaenda kwa makanisa wakipeana pesa, wakifanya nini. A lot of empty promises, and we all know.
200,000 shillings. Senator Mandako moja, mbili, 150,000 kwa Senator.
I call it a political liturgy. It's meant to reinforce this distance that we are the political class, we are the elites, you are the masses, and this distance will always be there. But then there is a way that the political class use social media in the country that takes that away. It's they'll be there bragging about all this stuff they bought online or they bought abroad, and in a sense, politicians in this country, I mean, politics is partly theater, but our local politicians, especially the young ones, don't know how far to take it. And in a sense, they began in many ways to want to replicate the life of celebrity.
Most expensive watch you have, which I bought with my own money? Yes, it's about 900,000 or something. Watch, yeah.
You know that the Kenyan public is suffering, so why are politicians flaunting their wealth and the wasteful use of public resources? By the way, very nice red bottom shoes.
What was he doing at the time that these protests started? Alikuwa amepata kazi ama ilikuwa bado ni kwa hustle?
Alikuwa bado tu ana hustle, ana kazi yoyote ile ya kudumu, ni hii tu kibarua ndogo ndogo. Mara za zingine aende mjengo ajitafutie, mara za zingine mtu amemwandika kidogo. Hiyo ndio kazi amekuwa akifanya before this protest, but hakuwa amepata ile kazi ya kudumu.
Alikuwa amesoma?
Alisoma Eldoret Polytechnic, alisoma course ya agriculture.
Haina noma na namna, seme boro hai na maana. Achia noma Maulana, live kwenye street kakiumana. Kuna siku juu tutaungana, kuna siku juu tutaungana. Haina noma na namna, kabina la kabina.
Kenyan government's budget plan for the next year has been proposed through the Finance Bill 2024. This bill raises controversy as it introduces several new taxes.
The mobilization was bigger in terms of in the TikTok platform rather. There is a sense in which TikTok interactions within that platform provided for a better element of interactions. One, because there's a bit of a hierarchy element on Twitter that is not there on TikTok. So it's easier to build that kind of peer-to-peer bond in a way that you're able to take these particular issues, articulate them.
Apana mjui tuko deep in debt that we must pay. Koso. Listen, this is wajinga. We understand the debt crisis and we understand the importance of debt.
First and foremost, when it comes to the issue of bread and butter, it united many people. We have had to make very painful decisions as a government to transform this country. That I can tell you. And there was bound to be consequences.
Cheki fala mekam na mezubana na cheki ati subari mambari mekam na meja subari mambari mekam na meja subari mambari mekam na meja cheki fala mekam na mezubana na cheki ati subari mambari mekam na meja subari mambari mekam na meja subari mambari mekam na kinini kidudu kam na kinini kidudu my God is the God viva na meja
You are doing away with the finance bill. If this is the language you can hear, that's the language you are going to talk.
The tear gas was used much earlier that day, at the beginning of the protest, even before the numbers swelled.
Yes, because it is used to disperse people, whether they are few or more. And they still were there. They were even using mineral water to wash their faces and continue protesting and using iPhones to take their photos. In fact, some people were coming to dance at the protest to create content because they were coming for the publicity. And because everyone now wants to shine, you just need a phone and then you can create content and you can have followers. That in itself, it was a motivation, I can say, because there's something I've observed. If somebody is talking about something, and then the camera is zoomed to them, they become even more wild because they are not now addressing the people there, they are speaking to the gallery. There is that effect as well.
I want to just ask a question about something you just said, that the protesters were using mineral water to wipe.
Yes, and Ubers to come to town. Yes.
Why is that such a big concern?
Because they were not the usual protesters.
Who is the usual?
The usual, most of the time, usually come from the informal settlements. Are we together? But this because it was affecting the moneyed. People with jobs, because of the pay slip. You get the point? People going to school, people who are looking for jobs.
Shouldn't that make them more legitimate in terms of their protests? That they've gone through the finance bill. They're interacting with the issue. They're going to the street and risking their safety and the lines that they don't usually cross. Why did that become such a big talking point for them?
First and foremost, I think any protester protesting about their rights is legitimate because the Constitution so provides, even if we may not agree with whatever they're doing. But of course, it's just like to say we were dealing with a different kind of people and who therefore needed to be dealt with in a different way. You understand? Because if it has always been like this, and that is why we even called for the national dialogue. The president himself called for the national dialogue, but then what happened? The people said they were leaderless, tribeless, and therefore formless. So they became amorphous. How would you have engaged those kind of people?
What's interesting about that is there are instances recorded where the provocation started from the law enforcement side. In a sense, by chanting, we are peaceful, we saw that on Kimathi Street, we saw that on the other side on Kenyatta Avenue. There was, in a sense, a seeking of commonality with the police, at least initially before the whole Rex Minor and then things went south. You could tell citizens were trying to find a space where they're telling the law enforcement, we're also out in the streets for you. Our grievances are your grievances.
We are going to make you the first and only one-term president of the Republic of Kenya.
The latest casualty in a series of arrests of those suspected to be at the forefront of protest against the Finance Bill 2024.
In hindsight, I was
an activist in making. But on June 16th, not 18th, 18th was day one of the protest, 16th, 2 days earlier, 16th and 17th, I officially became an activist. Let's go and print posters to tell people to occupy parliament. Basically, I honestly thought I would turn up in town with 100 people. So let's go and print out and hand out these posters. At least we do something for this country.
After the interview, after you decided to become an activist, were there any threats, any threatening behavior directed towards you?
No. You see, one thing, number one, what I did, my friends actually told me, by the way, you're becoming too public, so don't go home. So I didn't go home for those days. I was staying at a friend's place. There were no direct threats. There were no, apart from Twitter, of course. Twitter people are trolls, but there were no direct threats. I didn't feel threatened at any one point. However, I'm a very pragmatic person. I think very logically. I knew that based on what I've done for the last 1 week, I'm going to get arrested soon. I knew this, but arrested, not abducted. We knew there was another protest next week, so we were planning for it. I was actively planning for it. So I'm coordinating contributions by people on Twitter. I'm coordinating who's going to do what, who's going to print t-shirts, who's going to do this. So I have a group, a communications group that we are coordinating this, right? And then come Sunday, we are going to meet at a certain restaurant in Lavington, somewhere near here. We are going to meet here. Now, there is this lady I've met about a month ago. Now we are very close friends. She was part of that. She was helping me, with coordination. We were going to meet at that restaurant to finalize plans for Tuesday, for 25th, the next, which actually turned out to become the biggest protest. So we were sitting down to coordinate efforts for that. However, due to circumstances, traffic, somebody got sick, they didn't make it to where we were coming. Only one dude made it. So we sat down together, we had a beer, he had tea, just sat there. And that's when I noticed, for the very first time, a car was trailing me. I'm like, what? So I'm like, in my head, they're coming. So I knew this, but I thought they were cops. See, a car was trailing me, then disappeared. I go to my local bar in where I stay, where I was abducted from, South B. I go to my local bar, got there around 5 or 6. So, sat down. Everybody knows my local bar. I normally sit in one corner with my notebook, just writing things, have a few beers. I don't talk to people a lot, I just say hi. I'm an extrovert who keeps to himself, if that makes sense. So did that. Around 8, I decided let's go home. So I walk out. Walk out of the bar, walk down the stairs, and then right after the stairs like this, in the parking lot, there was a Prado parked on the very first spot. There are cars on the parking lot, I don't care about them. So I went to open my car. And then I saw a drunkard sleeping in front of my car, so the cars are facing this way, sleeping across like this. So in my head, I stood there for a few seconds. If you look at that video, I stood there for a few seconds. In my head, I'm asking myself, this bar, we've never had drunkards who drink these kind of, to come and sleep on the ground. So I was like, hey, no, Levi, what's wrong with him? I'm thinking to myself, Levi stood up, wearing a bulletproof vest. So it hit me immediately. As in, it took me 1 second to click. Shit, they've come for me. So I turned to run. Another person appeared, and another one. And then I was bundled up. I was put inside the car. At that point, I didn't even know it was a Prado car. I was put in the back seat, right, in the middle. There's somebody here, there's somebody here, there's somebody in front, there's a driver, right? And then my head was simply held down like this, and something was put over my head, right? And then was I handcuffed? Yes, then handcuffed. And then my pockets were ransacked immediately. Nobody said even one word to me. I just held my head down, and the car started driving, right? Now, like I told you, I talk too much, so I started talking to them. I spoke for the whole time. Nobody replied. We drove for about 45 minutes, right? You could tell we were driving 45 minutes. And then I was removed. I got to a place. So we drove, stopping, reversing, stopping, going. We got to a place. I was told to get out of the car. So I get out. I could hear a gate being opened, and then somebody hit me. Like it's those things of, wait, and then he had the police accent. You know the police accent? I was like, maybe they are cops. So maybe I'm in a police station. But I'm still hooded, and I can hear dogs. Then I walked for a minute. Somebody's now holding me. Hivi amenishika hivi, just directing me. So I directed, I had a door being open. I was like, yeah, this is a police station. It's just, when you get to a police station, you zile machuma, those, like, this is not a police station. Doors were open. And then we walked into a house. It was blaring Classic 105. That is a very important bit. The Koskeo point. Classic 105. It was blaring Classic 105. And the volume, I had the volume reduced into low volume. I was walked, I had doors being open. Now, at this point, I'm with only one person, yeah? Until somebody tells me, Simama, I stand. Him now, the person who's directing me. Bushika chini, I touch the floor like this. There was a mattress on the floor, right? I was like, oh, wait, just before you got into that, he told me to, of course, they took off my shoes and my belt. They had already taken the phone. I had nothing else on me. Oh, in a notebook. I had a blue notebook. They took that. Tell me, sit down, touch the floor, there's a mattress. Listen to this. And then, see, I'm still blindfolded. I'm still hooded. At some point, they have removed the hood and they have nimefungwa na kitamba leso kitamba yenye iko, it's wet. Something like this. Haya, kaa chini na magoti. So I sat down. And then told me, hapana, simama. So I stand up. Listen to this. Guza ukuta, as in, weka mkono mbele, guza, juu. I touched like this. What do you feel? Akaniambia, unasikia nini hapo? It's a cardboard. These flimsy cardboards. Right? Akasema, listen. So he told me to get back down and give me instructions. Nikiingia hapa, ukisikia nikiingia hapa, hiyo kitu kwa the blindfold isikuwe imetoka. Number 2, umesikia cardboard imeshika hapo juu? Shika vizuri. Mbona vile rahisi kutoa? And then I had a gun cocked on my neck. Gun. Unajua ni sauti ya nini? Nikamwambia, najua. Ukijaribu kutoa hiyo kitu, ama nikupata bila kitu kwa macho, that is the last thing you will hear. Then he walked out. And then he walked out and told me, nitakuletea breakfast kesho. And then he walked out. Just like that. I had doors being locked, a gate being locked, and then, Classic 105 starts blaring again, and then a gate is locked. And then that's it. I'm in darkness, just listen to Classic 105 in my handcuffs. That's it. I was in the landing path of a small airstrip. I could hear the planes, the air brake as the plane. So I was the landing part of the airstrip. I could hear that. I could hear wild animals. Those are wild animals have very distinctive cry. I forgot what it was, but very distinctive. Do you know who woke me up? Maina and Kingangi. I could hear them. Now the thing is, the speakers were far enough that I could not hear what they are saying, but they are near enough that I know that it's Maina and Kingangi. Right, listen to Maina and Kingangi. Guess what? A chair exactly like this. Sit down. Kakachina. And they started interrogating me. Their main issue was very simple. Who is financing you? And who is organizing these protests?
Walipo drive off, wakaniweka pingu kwa mkono nyuma, alafu wakanifunga kichwa.
When the cops began interrogating him, they wanted a disclosure of who was feeding the protesters with information on the issues they were raising, their financial in terms of t-shirts, placards, and transport.
I strongly believe it was not organic. I don't think the protests were organic.
And then he tells me, hey, Shadi. No, people call me Shadi. Now, on a trend Twitter, like, okay, nimeona free Shadi kila mali. Then I was like, thank God. You know, being in darkness alone, your thoughts run. So I was like, what if nobody noticed me being abducted? What if nobody's looking for me? What if? So he told me, hey, na free Shadi kwa kila mali. I felt relieved. Somebody's looking for me outside there. My relief was cut short in his next sentence. was like, lakini wewe usijali. Hapa si tuko na orders. Wakisema tukuachilie kesho, unaenda nyumbani. Listen to this. I'm saying verbatim. Wakisema ubaki hapa, tutakaa na wewe tu. Internet itakusahau within 2 weeks. Na wakisema tukumalize, hata kaburi yako itapatikana. So wewe usijali. Tusikie tu tuongoje tu orders ikuje. Verbatim. He told me that. They interrogated me for another like 2 hours, just confirming things. Where are you getting money from? Who is funding you? Blah, 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 blah. A lot of things. Like, Shadi, why have to ngoja sasa Kenya atasema. These women leave, they were gone for like, 30-40 minutes. And they didn't come back. And suddenly just chairman leaves the room, comes back and just telling people, 20, let's go. I wasn't walked back in, I was walked out. So the moment I stepped outside, I was like, fuck, niko nje ya nyumba. Like, that's it. They're going to kill me now. So I was like, I had him counting money. And he gave me 900 shillings. Tells me ni fair kwenda nyumbani. We drive. There's like, shika. Use my khakis and my phone. Like, shika, and I'm like, okay. Kaya kwa mfuko. Still blindfolded, yeah? Still handcuffed. And then suddenly the car stops. My handcuffs are removed. I was simply turned. I didn't see anyone. The blindfold was removed. Kambia toka nje. Car was closed and then it drives away. White Nissan X-Trail KCU 047H. That is the car that dropped me. You know where they left me? In the middle of Karen, a very affluent neighborhood, in a gate, somebody's gate. And it's a private place. Kuangalia simu iko fully charged. They charged my phone. They had it. So I opened my phone, I took a selfie, tweeted that I'm okay, called my friend, called my people, took a cab.
There were proposals that were dropped, 16 of them, when the parliamentary group meeting happened at State House. If I'm not wrong, that was on a Friday. But then the bill was to come to Parliament on a Tuesday. I forget the actual dates. Because now we had now to clarify here in my office, lies versus facts. We did a lot of work. Yeah? But by that time, the ground had been poisoned. You see, the issue of lies, misinformation, disinformation.
They will burn this country themselves. On the 25th, that armed men were following us, and I say that I really thank the members of the public. I didn't think they realized or noticed, but they were actually, you know, as we walked down the streets and we were leaving the Supreme Court, walking through, we met policemen, some that I knew, and then they showed us where we should walk out through. I say that there is no peace without justice. When he got into power, he talked about the way he was unhappy with how things had happened in his predecessor's presidency. And he alienated himself from that, and he said he was not part of that. He will ensure that no special unit in the DCI will be used to frustrate people. He said there will be no extrajudicial killings. But what are we seeing now? Oh my God.
Why are they doing that?
Someone else has been shot.
I stand to support this Finance Bill 2024.
I stand here to vote and support the Finance Bill 2024.
We say no to corruption and we fund and live within our means.
We must reject this Finance Bill.
After the amendments, I don't see any reason to oppose it. Must members of that opinion say aye?
So the ayes have it.
Actually, I was around the governor's office and I saw the gate, down.
Really feel to like something is going to happen here. That moment, though, you can trigger too. Like I was turning back, venye bro aliniambia. So kuturn hivi back, ndio nilifeel to vibration kwa mwili yangu, like something just hit me and ndio nikajua nimeshutiwa. Hata nilifeel like bullet imetokea kwa kifua kumbe, because ilikuwa so strong yani. So nikaanguka chini. So I feel like it's over. Let me just die. But nikaamuka, nikaona hapana, siwezi nikakufia hapa hivi, wacha nikufie mbele. Nikufe like nikifight yani. So nikaamuka, seek some help hivyo, nilikuwa nainua mikono hivyo tu, at least watu waone niko alive. Nikainua mikono. There's some police men who came around hivyo. Nikauliza like kama wanaweza nisaidia nipeleke kwa ambulance. So they ignored until one policeman mwenye sitamsahau, sura yake ilistick kwa mind yangu, sitamsahau kabisa. Alikuwa na pistol, alikuwa ananipoint, we kufa, mnatusumbua sana, you should die. I felt so bad. Nilimwona hiyo sura yake, ilikuwa mtu wa kuwa mtu, na ningekuwa peke yangu na yeye angenimalizia hapo hivyo, angeni execute. Is that him? This guy. Ni John
Kaboi.
Yeah. John Kaboi. Hii sura yake haijapotea. Nilikuwa hapo chini, some bodies walikuwa pia hapo chini, wengine wameshitiwa. There's one person I saw ameshitiwa kwa mgongo, alikuwa na white overall. Ameshitiwa kwa mgongo na harespond, amanka chini. Mimi niko hapo hivyo. So hizo chance za wameua ndio nilifeel to wanaongelea mimi. I am gone. But nikasema si mimi ndio wanaongelea. I must wake up.
Did you hear the gunfire?
Yes, I heard it. I saw the video too when they were coming into parliament. The police are shooting at them, but they're still coming in.
That day nilikuwa off duty. I work at MTRH. So nilikuwa mimi naishi annex. So nilikuwa na follow these proceedings tu kwa TV nikiona venye mambo inaenda. At around 3, one of my cousin akanipigia simu kwamba amepigiwa simu Francis ameumizwa. Haku specify. kwamba ameumizwa wapi na amekimbizwa MTRH. Nikaenda mpaka MTRH emergency. Kufika pale, there were a lot of people wenye wanaingizwa na ambulance, wenye wametoka maandamano wameumizwa. So ilikuwa restricted kiasi kuingia. So mimi nikajieleza one of staff and my brother, naambiwa ameumizwa. Hao watu wa security wakaniuliza anaitwa nani, nikamwambia Francis sawa. And then wakasema waja receive somebody by that name. Nikaruhusiwa niende ndani, nikaonyesha ile picha. Kuingia ndani napelekwa counseling, then I had to use a reverse psychology. Nikaambia kwamba nimeambiwa kwamba amepoteza maisha. So I just wanted to confirm kama ni yeye. Ndio nikapelekwa, nikapata, nikafungua, nikaona damu tu, yani alipigwa risasi ya kifua.
Nikauliza tu swali moja, msiniambie kifo. Hiyo ndio kitu nilisema. Sababu hii picha si mzuri. Nani amekufa? Ni mama yangu. Huyu akanijibu hapana, kuna maneno imetokea. Nikaambia msiniambie mara ya pili. Mara ya tatu huyu akasema imetokea. Nikauliza ni nani? Akaniambia ni Francis. Nikaanguka tu.
Conversation this crucial was hijacked by dangerous people.
On the night that you were in hospital, the president came out and said that an important conversation had been hijacked by criminals. Did you think that he was talking about you when he said that? And how did that make you feel as a person who went to the streets?
President Ruto said that there are some criminals who had hijacked the protest. So nikaanza kuimagine vile nilitoka nyumbani, vile nilikuwa yani sikuwa na any object nilikuwa nimebeba like a blunt object ya kumiza mtu hivyo. Nilikuwa na maji pekee na simu na placard peke yake. But when Ruto spoke, I felt so bad. Ruto hana remorse, like sijui ndasemaje, because I just lack words to say about him.
I was more concerned about my country, and for once I saw a country that can degenerate into civil anarchy, and it was very scary. Because where do you go to after this?
Having reflected on the continuing conversation around the content of the Finance Bill 2024, and listening keenly to the people of Kenya who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this Finance Bill 2024, I concede, and therefore I will not sign the 2024 Finance Bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn, and I have agreed with these members that that becomes our collective position. Accordingly, there is need for us as a nation to pick up from here and go into the future.
Hello? Hey. And it's like a full-time job for me. I have to run around hospitals and morgues. And also like tolerate the government's propaganda. Some people would go online and complain. I'm sorry, others who try to sensationalize this issue. Allah sijui anasema nini. Allah utaniangalia sijui anasema nini, anasema kukufa. Sawa okay, alikuwa he was stable, si ndio? I mean niliona kwa stable ama ni ile bullet ilikuwa ndani yake bado. Yeah, anasema he's having a hard time breathing.
Oh, he's not dead.
Yeah, and the last time alisema he was stable. You know he has to live with a bullet inside him. Dr. Umar anakuja, nimepigia, nimemwambia kimbie huko. Nimemwambia kimbie huko angalie.
Oh, so he's not dead yet.
Yeah, she's I don't know what they call that machine.
Oh, he's being resuscitated.
Yeah. And he shot on his back, so he became paralyzed. He was so positive that he'll walk again. You know, the doctor is talking about some pulmonary, nini.
How does it make you feel? Because you must receive a lot of these calls.
Because this is where we are going out to the streets today. Because they've paralyzed these young kids. He's a young guy.
How many calls like that do you receive in a day?
Wow, this is just the very few. Daktari. Uma.
What's happened?
The guy has just died. Genuinely devastating.
Alikuwa asubuhi, hata nimeongea naye saa 4.
Alikuwa salama.
Wanasema walimfanyia physiotherapy.
Pole Rera, pole.
Nikikuja kijana wangu hapo Buye.
Pole.
Wangu ameniacha peke yangu.
Pole.
Wangu ameniacha peke yangu.
Pole Rera. Pole. Wan Rabbi.
Alhamdulillah.
Wan Rabbi ya.
Alhamdulillah.
Pole.
Alhamdulillah.
Pole. Takuja. Pole sana Rera. Ndio huyu mtu amekatiza maisha ya kijana wangu. Alikuwa anasema mama, nikienda South Africa nipate pesa, nitakujengia nyumba. Shida siwezi vumilia kulia. Mimi nalia tu. Tangu kijana wangu aende, mimi nalia usiku na mchana. Saa zingine nalia mbele ya watu. Saa zingine nalia peke yangu. Nikijificha nalia peke yangu, najificha usiku.
Ajuaye ni mama, uchungu wake mwana. Ajuaye ni mama, uchungu wake mwana. Moyo wangu, haki utapata lini? Moyo wangu, jeraha litapona lini? Jeraha litapona lini? Haki utapata lini?
I hope we all make it out safely. It used to be peaceful. You know, business were opened. Everything was going on well when this started until the goons infiltrated this movement, this protest.
So far, we have about 10 names that were received through our distress line, the toll-free line, and we've not been able to see those. Yes, he's refused to pick calls.
Unahisi aje umepata kijana wako na vile habari zimekuwa zikiwa mbaya wakishikwa?
That's why I'm crying. Yeah, because you can't be sure. And we hear that, other children are not better than my son.
Is that your phone?
Yes. That's my husband.
Listening keenly to what the people of Kenya have said, I have today, in line with the powers given to me, decided to dismiss with immediate effect all the cabinet secretaries and attorney general of the cabinet of Kenya.
President, I think kwanza nianze kwa kusema he has lost a lot. In fact, if there was a time yenye angepata political fame, ingekuwa kuwasikiliza hawa vijana before all these things escalated. It was about finance bill. Angeanza kusema mimi sitakubali ata reject finance bill, asikilize watu. I think vijana wangempenda. But now yeye alikataa. Akakuja all through, tunaona Gen-Zs wakampush kwamba watoe akina Murkomen, this cabinet yake. Akatoa, and then now amewarudisha without even, people hawana imani na hii government and this cabinet. So it could have took some time, asikiliza watu pia wanasema nini. We want an inclusive government. Sio sasa, you know what he's doing is recycling, Juu amefuta na akarudisha the same people. Anyway, president maybe is right, maybe anajua venye anafanya, but tumwachie, tupatane ballot.
This was a core promise that the president made. No more extrajudicial killings, no more enforced disappearances, and yet 2-3 years into his term, he's having to admit that next to a visiting foreign leader, not once, twice, that these things are happening. So what do you make of the kind of promise that he made vis-a-vis what's been happening?
I think I call it honesty, pragmatism and practicality. Yes.
Not the use of tactics that are gone by and then, asking for forgiveness after the fact.
One of the things that we need to agree with is that when the president speaks, he speaks for the whole country. It does not necessarily mean that he's speaking that is what government did. Yeah. So he's just wishing the country to make progress, and such occurrence should not happen again. It is not an indictment on the part of any security apparatus of government organs or bodies or institutions.
But then who is responsible for this?
Whoever is responsible is a prerogative of investigations, but then will determine independently if at all it is Maura or Alan.
You don't find it strange that you'd have members of the public on the one hand claiming that they were, taken by members of the security apparatus numerous times, only for officials such as yourself and the president to say that we don't know who is taking these people. You don't find that?
Take the example of those that are accused of having been killed by police. Don't we have a record of 60? And the police that allegedly made those assassinations or killings, whatever you can call them. because it matters who says that. These are not a clear admittance that a process is going on, and that you let the rule of law take its own course?
Well, those things happened in public, in the light of day. So it's very difficult to deny that those things actually did happen.
Where is my son? Yesterday, they taken my son.
Niko njaa hata siezi karanga, uwe hae shagala bagala, niko tayari kulipa gharama, sitasimama maovu ya kitawala, sitasimama maovu ya kitawala.
Immediately cancel the ongoing procurement process for JKI expansion public-private partnership transaction, as well as the recently concluded Ketrago transmission in public.
A Nairobi court has thrown out charges against web developer and activist Rose Njeri, citing a defective charge sheet.
This man stole my future.
He shot you?
Yeah. I believe this man shot me. I believe.
What would you say to him today if you were to meet him?
I'm just speechless, but I just want him to know that I'm alive. I'm alive. So I expect nikufe, but nearly fight through these days, but I'm alive.
I have taken the step. Nimetoka Kabak kuchukua recommendation letter. I have been enrolling for my masters. We have said everyone needs to go to school, guys.
Boniface Karaoke, the masked vendor who was shot in the head during Tuesday's protests in Nairobi, is still admitted at the Kenyatta National Hospital's intensive care unit.
At the Milimani Law Courts, the two officers were arraigned before Senior Principal Magistrate Robinson Ondeki.
In Nairobi, saa hii watu wanapanga kuandamana tena, mark 1 year. Would you, as a person who's lost somebody, go onto the streets to protest?
Absolutely, why not? Because what we are fighting for now is justice. 1 year, for sababu what we are going, it's justice for those who lost their lives.
If things keep going the same way, I feel that even if we manage to suppress the protesters, it's only waiting for another explosion, which would be much worse. I feel that that's not the way to put police on different roads, blocking every single place, putting a somber mood that this country is on a war mode, Instead of looking at this as a positive opportunity to change, shake out corruption, ensure we have accountability structures, get our people out of office who cannot do their work.
namna, seme boro hai na mana. Achia noma Maulana, live kwenye street kakiumana. Kuna siku youth wataungana, kuna siku youth wataungana. Haina noma na namna, kardinali mtoto wa mama. Haina noma na namna, kardinali mtoto wa mama.